All right. Thank you for a very warm introduction. And I'm what somewhat like the seventh speaker today, including the workshop. And I feel very jaded, probably the rest of you. I feel like the seventh husband of Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor was a Hollywood actress, and apart from her acting prowess, she was also known for marrying too many times. And her seventh husband on the wedding night said to her, "I know exactly what to do, but I don't know how to make it interesting." So that's how I'm feeling currently. But I can assure you of one thing: I won't keep you long. All right. So I'm going to be talking about how our UX job is tech, and in what sense, and how we can do to evolve and carry on with the trend that is going on, the artificial intelligence. So let's begin with looking at two job descriptions, right? So on the left side, you see a job description of a UX designer from 2018. So I read some of the excerpts from the job description. It was to create wireframes, user flows, high fidelity prototypes, right? And you have to be proficient in Sketch, Adobe XD, or Photoshop, the Adobe Creative Suite, right? Now, fast forward to 2025, and you have a completely different set of responsibilities. You have to partner with AI tools to analyze user data. You have to apply systems thinking, right? And you have to reframe business and user problems. You have to understand emerging technologies and how to make use of them. It all drastically changed in just a span of 7 years, right? The traditional UX job is finally dead. So before we talk about how we can evolve, let me walk you through an introduction on what I do. My name is Rajat Agarwal, and I head the experience design competency at To The New. To The New is a digital services technology firm, and we are headquartered in Singapore, but we have delivery centers across 6 cities across the world. Apart from this, I also have a small design community that I have founded by the name of Design One. And what I do there is we talk about issues that are plaguing the community. So, for example, we will not talk about the technical stuff, but we'll talk about issues like mass layoffs, what is the future of UX design going to look like, and so on. You could probably check it out on designone.com. And overall, I have 15 years of experience in UI UX. I have worked with brands like Accenture, Global Logic, and Nagaro in the past. Now, I'll give you a quick snapshot about To The New. So, like I said, we are a technology services company, and we design and build digital products for our clients across the world. And we are more than 2,500 employees currently. And specifically talking about experience design, we have a team of more than 45 designers back home in Noida. And it's a healthy mix of UX designers as well as visual designers, which I lead. So now, let's quickly take a look at the evolution of UX. And Manjeet talked about the evolution a bit. And I want to sort of give you a quick recap on how it started, how UX came to be about, and where are we looking forward from here, 2025. So, before Don Norman gave the term UX at Apple in 1993, this domain was more commonly known as human-computer interaction. And since Don Norman gave it the term user experience, it kind of caught up, and everybody could relate to its importance in their business requirements, right? So technically, Don Norman became the first person with UX as his job title. And then after 1995, from 1996 to about a decade, till 2006, the web revolution came to be about. We were all called as web designers, and it was all about designing experiences for website, right? There wasn't UI, UX specifically, especially in India, and it was all, the businesses, they came to be about a website. Internet was sort of penetrating the markets of India. And then in 2007, the the iPhone happened and the mobile revolution happened. So this was the smartphone era, and the rise of mobile devices, it created a need for responsive design. And we had people like Ethan Marcotte talk about fluidity and adaptability in design, and the multi-device user experience and a unified experience across the board. And then from 2015 to 2022, we saw some sort of UX maturity across all organizations, especially in India. And whether it was actually UX maturity or a bit of dilution is debatable. But we talked about how we could integrate businesses with UX design. We tried to teach business stakeholders the importance of UX design, how it could create a massive impact as far as ROI was concerned, right? And dedicated UX teams came to be formed. It was all about new tools. So we've seen the evolution from the Adobe Creative Suite to Sketch to InVision and to Figma in 2020 and 2019, right? And user research methods, they came to be about well-known, but nothing was well-defined. And before we could even mature in that area, 2022 happened and ChatGPT was launched. And since then, in just about 3 years, a whole new revolution is here, the AI revolution. So now let me give you a quick statistics of AI adoption in UX. And now this is from Nielsen and Norman Group. These stats are from early 2025, so about 6 months back. And here we see that 63% of UX professionals, they use one AI tool or the other several times or more per week. And then there's hardly any UX professional who's not using an AI tool. And I'm sure this must have increased to about 80% in the last 6 months or so. Even when it comes to using AI tools, if we talk about some statistics, again from NNG, we see that the top 5 conversations of Claude consist of UX. Like UX is in the top 5 conversations that happen. And while 7.53% might not look like much, but considering that we are a small group of professionals, it says quite a lot. It says that every UX design professional has tried out one UX tool or the other. So now we are totally aware that AI has impacted our industry, right, in one way or the other. It has automated our industry. It can automate nearly all sorts of our design practice, from coming up with wireframes, doing user research or usability testing. It can have access to vast amounts of data and process it at much faster speed than humans, and it can give us surface level insights on what's working and what's not. And one of the biggest impacts of AI is that it has moved us beyond just UX tools. So now, if you are a Figma expert or you know some micro interactions in Figma like the back of your hand, it's not really going to work much in your favor. And apart from this, the old myth of the artsy little soul creative designer is no longer present. So today it's all about collaboration, and you cannot really work in silos, and you cannot be that arty because all that stuff is being taken care of by AI. So at To The New, this is the new workflow that we have, and it augments all the AI technology that there is. So we are trying to leverage, we are trying to define our workflow with each passing day. So the things that you see here highlighted in yellow, these are the areas in our workflow where we leverage AI technology. So it starts off with the discovery phase, where we gather requirements from our business clients. We try to understand what we are up to, and we'll show you as an example how we implement AI. And we do stakeholder interviews, where also we implement AI. New extension of implementation model. So probably the only thing that is not effective as far as AI tools are concerned is visual design, icons, assets, and probably physical prototypes. But here there is a caveat. It is as of now. AI tools are evolving with each passing day. So I'm pretty sure that in the next a couple of more years, we will even have visual designs taken care of by AI technology. Now, let me give you a short example of how we use AI at Google. So, as an example, we recently got a client requirement, and in the US, they were supplementing the 911, and they had a desktop application. It was really old in how it looked and functioned like in its overall flow, and it had to be modernized. So the key objective was that there were a lot of actors who were using the application. So there were teams of government officials, there were emergency teams in schools or in hospitals or in various locations, and they had to sort of generate a new incident whenever something, like an emergency happened. And they had to bring on board all these different actors onto an application. So now we had little experience about the domain, but we wanted to give it a shot. So what we did was, while they were demoing their app, we asked if we could get access to a test credential, and which they complied to. And then we uploaded that screenshot of their app into one of the AI tools. And we simply asked it, can you tell us from this uploaded screenshot what this company does, some UI UX improvement areas, and just general thoughts. And here's where things got interesting. It automatically gave us the purpose of the application. So we didn't really have to worry about the domain that we were dealing with. It gave us quite a few insights on how it could be made better. And it gave us insights on what the company actually does. So it told us that it's an interoperable communication solution for public safety, and what it does, it combines voice, video, text, and data from different agencies, and that's how the portal was going to be functioning like. We then asked it to present us with some more UI UX thoughts, and this is what it gave us. It gave us some strengths, things that were already working well in the application, and some areas of improvement. Now here's where the fun part begins. We then asked it to sort of summarize all that it had given us, all the information, right from what the company does to what the application, the different kind of users the application had, into one prompt that we could feed into another AI. So even the prompt writing was automated by making use of this AI tool. And it gave us right from the directions that we had to give to the AI tool. So it said, design a modern, user-friendly dashboard screen. These are the features, and this is how the layout should look and function like. And it also mentioned some of the design style, modern, clean, accessible, with a professional look. So we went ahead with this prompt and we fed it into Google Stitch, which was earlier known as Galileo AI. And this is what it gave us. Now, obviously, this is not handoff ready, this is not production ready, but this gives us a good, solid head start. So it gives us a direction in which to think. Things, the basic things that can be solved into this existing application, and how we can sort of move ahead and speak to our business stakeholders and get that business for us, right? So it not only solves the UI UX problems, but it talks about the larger picture, because the mundane stuff was being done by AI tools. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? In two ways. So one is what I feel is that AI is currently evolving. Every day new tools are popping up. So we are not quite there, right? We are still all very naive when it comes to using AI. And with the technology improving with each passing day, I'm sure that there will be new tools, new methods, and new possibilities in the field of AI. And the second thing is that we are all aware of tools here and there, but we don't really know how to integrate them into our work, right? So, from both sides, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, I want to tell you that while AI is good at doing all of these things, like I mentioned, data analysis and insights, right? And it does automation, so very efficient processing data that we have, what we feeding into it. There are limitations with AI as well. And it is very limited in its output because it's backed by a set training data set, right? So whatever training data exists as of now, it is only going to give us outputs based on that, nothing out of the training data. So that's a limitation, right? It also struggles with true creativity. So, there have been incidents of plagiarism, in outputs generated by AI tools, and it does not give us anything groundbreaking, right? It gives us creative ideas, it gives us a head start, fine, but it's not really original. It also lacks nuanced understanding, of human emotions, of empathy, and that's definitely a drawback. It's also kind of rigid in its output, so whatever you feed into it, it's not going to see beyond that picture. It's not going to understand the business unless you get to it about it, right? And then of course there are data privacy and security issues. And this is where it's our time to shine. So where AI is limited by all its drawbacks, where we can shine is by AI orchestration. So this whole symphony of AI is being conducted by us, right? We are the conductors of this great piece of music created by AI, and it is here that we can shine. So we can learn we can teach ourselves how to prompt better, how to understand the limitations of AI better, so we could feed it the data that gives us the output that we desire, right? And this is exactly where we can shine. Then next we have is critical analysis. So while an AI will give us some outputs, but it's not able to look at the bigger picture, right? It might give us some skewed or biased outputs, and it is up to us to verify that those outputs with multiple sources and to understand whether it's matching with the business environment or whether it's making sense in the bigger picture or not, right? That is something that only humans can do, and AI is definitely not going to do that. Then it is still us who own the strategic vision, right? So we own the far-off vision on what a business could look like 5 years down the line or maybe even 10 years. We understand the market trends. So while AI understands what's going on and it has some data set pertaining to the history, but doesn't really understand what the future could look like. We have a more culturally nuanced understanding of the overall vision, and that is how we can empower ourselves to move ahead and to make use of AI and think from a bigger perspective. Then business understanding is an important aspect, and as much bigger of an understanding of the business we have, we would be able to influence the business stakeholders. And I don't mean to use the word influence in a negative way. I mean it in a positive way, because it's only us humans who understand what the stakeholders really want versus what they have been telling us as a requirement. This is something that AI can definitely not do. So we have to be mindful of the business understanding, and we have to equip ourselves to start speaking the business stakeholders language, right? So we have to start speaking in terms of ROI and investments, dollar retention rate, that sort of language that the CEOs and the big shots speak. So this is where it's our time to shine. The next thing that humans still own is collaboration. So now with everything being generated by AI and being automated everywhere, it is still collaborative nature that the AI will not be able to fulfill. So we as designers, we deal with so many different sets of people from different domains. We deal with technical engineers, developers, business analysts, and QAs. And the more we are able to work with them closely, we are able to see their side of the picture and are able to resolve conflicting interests, the more better collaborators we would be, and this is absolutely something that we would have an edge over here. Then, like I touched upon, empathy is absolutely something. So now, while AI can simulate empathy from the data set it is trained on, it cannot really be empathic, right? It cannot understand empathy right down to the level we understand it to be. So, for example, we understand the local customs, the language differences, the religious traditions, or the cultural nuances. We maybe understand, what a color could mean and symbols could mean like in various parts of our country and the world. It is something that AI would definitely struggle to deal with. So again, empathy is something that we should absolutely focus on, building a skill set around empathy. The next is, I've mentioned this a couple of times, cultural nuances. Nothing beats our understanding like a human to human connection, and while AI thrives on the data set it's it's nowhere beating the humans when it comes to understanding the little things about fellow humans that we understand. Then finally, storytelling, and like Vivek, you know, sort of raise the bar of the speakers for today. Do you really think that AI will replace somebody as talented as Vivek? I don't think so. Storytelling is something that we should absolutely know. And while AI creates lots of output for us, it is up to us to build a narrative, a story out of it. And the story, like you also mentioned, takes us a long way. It's able to influence the stakeholders, decision makers. It's able to sell our designs and to make our important strength in various parts of the organization. So now one thing is definitely certain, that this is the new reality that there is, and we must absolutely embrace it. So the new reality is definitely going to be AI powered. It is going to be much beyond just tool expertise. So Figma expert would cease to exist anymore, and AI orchestrators would be the new roles that we will be looking at in the industry. Prompt engineering is something that we should definitely master at a skill. We should understand the various parts of the input that it takes to generate well-informed output that we want from an AI. It's going to be a hybrid future, and while AI takes care of the automation part of it, it is up to us to make use of the remaining part. And strategic evolution, right? More than just creating wireframes or prototypes, we have to look at the bigger picture. These are going to be the new expertise areas in the new reality. Finally, I would like to tell you a story about Luddites. So, in the early 19th century, when the news, they were being mechanized and they were being automated, a handful of skilled handloom workers, they got very insecure about their jobs with all the automation happening. So they formed a group called as the Luddites, and they would break open factories and industries in the night, and they would attack these machines and they would break down these factories and industries in a way to save themselves, right? Their revolt did not really last long, and ultimately they either had to retrain themselves and work in new industries and factories that they were opposing, or they had to find another job, right? So let's not become the Luddites and embrace the reality. This is my time. Thank you so much, guys.